Hey guys, Seafood Les Clements here once again, Black Dragon Kung Fu. So thanks for watching. So I had to move this video out into my driveway because in the backyard there were dogs next door and the house behind that were barking. They started barking, everything was quiet, then I moved. So I realized I was starting to do a video on something else. And in that short little moment of frustration, I realized, wait a minute, I'm gonna turn this into a different video that I think is much more important for the times we're living in. So if we think about conflict, from the major wars happening in the world, to hand-to-hand combat all over the world, to verbal arguments and fighting even within the household, how much of all of this conflict can actually be avoided? Now, if we look at this from a sound state of mind, we can imagine a lot of it. I would be willing to wager the majority of it. So it's an art. It is just as much of a practice of a trained martial artist to learn how to avoid fight as it is to learn how to destroy an opponent in a fight. So if you have no polarization there and you are skilled and trained to do damage to another human being, but you are equally skilled in judging and gauging when you should respond to something and when you shouldn't, you're gonna be a lot better off. Because people, especially guys, seriously, guys walking around with your chest out, getting upset when someone looks at you. Maybe you think someone looks at your woman. Maybe they are. Does that really matter? So what? So I walk by with a lady friend of mine and 3 guys on the street corner, they're looking at her. So we keep going. Even if it's one guy and he's this big, even he's that big, keep going. Doesn't matter. A tiny person may have a gun and he may be 2 seconds away from snapping. We have to treat people like this if we don't know them, okay? This is simple safety 101. So we have to think a lot more strategically than martially and physically a lot of the time. So when you stop putting yourself in places where conflict happens, your chances of getting into a conflict go way down. Now we're talking about someone breaking into your house or approaching you in the parking lot of a store or something like that. Or if you're a woman, of course, all the problems that can happen there. So with that, that's a little bit more serious, something that's a little bit harder to avoid. And that's why we do self-defense. I have a women's self-defense class. I'm gonna probably start it back up pretty soon. And it's about strategic thinking mostly for women of any age, any stature. So it's the mind that can save our life often more than the body can. So just remember that. How much conflict is necessary and do we have to respond? If someone says something about my mother, I don't care. I'm not gonna respond to that. In fact, I like mama jokes. Me and my friends always do that. Someone looks at my lady friend, I don't care, I'm gonna keep going. Somebody says, hey, you're a, brand me whatever name you want, I don't care, I keep going. It's not until you can't go anywhere else and someone's closing the gap. So if you feel like someone is about to physically put their hands on you, the first thing as a martial artist I always do is I step back and then I look. First thing I do is I step back with one hand and I look behind me because there might be more people. Now, what do I say? Hey, what do you want? What's up? Now, if there's gonna be a fight, they have to move that hand. And if he moves that hand, you're in a fight. Could I run? Maybe. But remember, he could chase. So if you run from an opponent and they're chasing you and you get tired and he's faster and he catches you, you're done. See? So you may have to stand and fight. And the point of this video is helping you gauge when that's possible. See, we're planting a seed to set a tone for the awareness so it'll take precedence and it'll show itself in situations that become more dangerous. I've narrowly avoided conflict a few times. I've easily avoided it a lot. I've been unable to avoid it a few times, but most of the time it has been easy to get away from. Okay? So, with that being said, unfortunately, I know a gentleman many years ago, and he loved to fight. He had an ego like there was no tomorrow. And he got killed. Someone shot him. And very, very sad. I'm not going to say any names because people know him. It could be very triggering. But my point is you can't just go around provoking just anyone, because someone's going to have something to say about it. And it's not the type of thing where no one is armed, everyone's running around, clean fights don't ever exist. So all I'm saying is just use a little bit more awareness when it comes to conflict. Two guys go outside, they agree to throw some hands and, fix their decision, come back in, shake it off, shake hands. One guy falls down the concrete, his head busts open, his brain bleeds out, the other guy's in prison. Neither one of them intended that, but that's the consequence of fighting. Anything can happen in a fight. So keep your wits about you when you're training martial arts. And if you found this video helpful on avoiding conflict, click the like button. Share, even better if you can subscribe. All right, Seafood Les Clements out.